let's begin because you can see my desktop now. So let me go ahead and, oh, let me move this. Let me go to, um, first, let me go to the website of West and Gabriel. What you're seeing on your screen is the website of the West and Gabriel Valley Association of Realtors. On the upper right-hand corner, where the menu is, you see the MLS login and the zipForm login. That's one way of getting to the zipForm. The zipForm is supported on the CAR website. So you can also access it through the CAR website. So this morning, before we get into zipForm, I'd like to show you around on our association website. You see over here, I'm sure you are familiar, you click on the education schedule, you can find out about the education classes. I believe most of you is registered through here. We have membership, MLS, breakfast meetings, rules and policies. So feel free to navigate around your association website. There's important information that it can help you do your daily association business if you need to. Like for example, on the upper menu on the top, there is a forms menu. If you click on forms, you can find out where how to download the various forms you may need to do business with the association. Okay, so if you need to change office transfer form is right here. You can download it here. CRMLS member transfer form to transfer your listings, you know. And if you need association to make status change on your MLS listings, here is the MLS status change forms. You can download these, fill it out, and email it to the associations, and those things will get done. Membership application, I'm sure you guys all filled that out before. So feel free to navigate around your association website. For example, the pro standards. If you ever want to file a complaint, here is where you go. Okay, so you guys can all see the website. It's full of information. So now let me take you to the CAR website. Now you are at the CAR website. Okay, before you log in, again, there's a lot of information on the CAR website. And for example, Industry 360, there's a lot of housing data statistics that CAR keeps for you, for members' use. And home buyer's guide, housing market overview, a whole bunch of reports that you can also utilize in your daily business when you're dealing with your clients. Speeches and presentations. This is where you can go, and you need to be logged in. I don't want to log in yet. Well, I might as well log in now. Okay. Once you're logged in, as you see upper right-hand corner, I am logged in. There's a whole bunch of speech and presentations that whatever the association did, it's all here available for you to download and review. So if you miss some of the important economic data updates and things like that, you can find them all here. So that's in the Industry 360 tab, okay? Learn and Thrive, there's license renewal information. There's other education stuff. You can click to get in, and there's meeting and events. You can find out marketing tools and knowledge base. Knowledge center is where you can view a lot of the videos, podcasts, newsletters to keep yourself informed. Okay, the transaction center. Transaction center is where the standard forms, broker services, and all that. And this is where you can find your forms advisors and forms tutor, okay? this is the website where you go. Okay, you can do your forms advisor forms too. For example, if you click on here, and it takes you to a different website. Forms advisors it's a system where you answer everything about your transactions. There's like 5 or 6 areas of questions. Each area, there's a whole bunch of questions about your transaction. For example, if you click on your buyer, first you select you are doing a purchase transaction. You go in there. I might as well show you very quickly. You guys are all seeing the screen changes, right? So now do you see the forms advisor? If you're doing a purchase, you do a purchase and your buyer representation, you go to buyer representation, you see right here, it asks information about you, your property, your client, your transaction, and then it gives you a summary. So each area, you answer these questions and about the property, what type of property it is. You just answer these questions. And then about your client, whether your client is an individual or is a power of attorney or is he a corporation, representing a corporation. You answer all these questions. And about the transactions, whether or not this is a 1031 tax deferred exchange, if this is FHA financing, if this is a probate or trust sale. If you answer these questions, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, then you go to the summary page. I can't get to the summary page because I did not answer any of the questions. But here is the past ones I have done. For example, the last one I have done, when I get to the summary page, these are all the forms that I should be using within my transaction. It tells you what forms you need. That way you're not missing out on important forms. For example, on the last example I did, I said it was a short sale. So immediately it says, for short sales, you need to give the buyer the short sale addendum, short sale information advisory. That way, you as realtors, you will not be accidentally missing out on information you should and you need to provide to your buyers. So use the forms advisors. And if you have a broker that has the document checklist, always check with that. Those are the minimum. Those are the minimum document requirements, okay? And this is a more elaborated document list, okay? For example, last time I mentioned that my buyer is a corporation. So now it says RCSD B1. This is buyer one's RCSD because the buyer is representing a corporation. So they need to sign that form. And you see, let me move my, okay. You see this link to tutor and link to Q&A. Anytime you see a character with a square hat, the professors or college graduation cap, okay? That means this form has forms tutor to it. For example, exempt seller disclosure, okay? Let me show you. You click on that. It takes you to the forms tutor, okay? And it takes you to the forms tutor. You can find your forms. Let me see. I want to display all. Okay. That way I can exempt seller. Then I have to look down here for the exempt seller. Exempt seller disclosure. Okay. So if I click on this form, I don't know what this form is all about. So you can come here and this is a sample of the form. And in here, you click on here, it gives you a description of what this form is and how this form is to be used. And if you don't like to read because it's so small, you're like me, you probably need to put on your glasses to read. You can click on the
exempt seller disclosures, Form ESD. in addition to questions specified on the TDS.
You hear that? Did you guys all hear that? Fawn, did you guys see all the screen changes? And
Yes. And we heard it.
Okay, so you can hear a voice recording on how to use this form, what this form is all about. This way you can educate yourself on the forms, because I'm sure your broker provides lots of training in the office, but because the broker may not be providing you training right at the time that you need to use a form, and it may be too bothersome to ask your managers or something, you're on a weekend, here is where you can go and learn about the forms. So my job is to show you how to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and to be able to self-teach. Okay, you can self-teach yourself and become a zipForm expert yourself, just simply by utilizing the extra features rather than just go in there and use the forms. You have extra features that it can help you self-learn. One way to access here, it was through the CAR website. When we get into the zip forms, I will show you how you can, where you can go and click and get to the same place and get your forms tutors and forms advisors, okay? But now you know what forms tutor is all about, okay? Let me close this. Let me close this and forms advisor. So let me close this. Now we're back to the website, okay? I'd like to get you started from the homepage. Okay, now that you know, in the future, when you get here from the homepage, you can log in by clicking here and typing your user ID and passwords, and you can access a lot of these informations. Transaction Center, Learn and Thrive, Industry 360. Industry 360, there's market data, there's MLS standards, there's also political advocacy, and over here, there is legal matters, arbitrations, and also the past legal opinions. You can also get a lot of the legal bulletins. Okay, you can also watch podcasts. So play around with this website. This is California Association of Realtors website. It's very useful for you. But like most of us, when we get here, we go straight to here. Click on zip form, right? So let's go to the zip form, because that's what we're here for, okay? And when you come here, this is the continue button. When you first log in, this continue button may do a little circling. What it does is it's verifying your credentials. It's verifying your username and passwords to link up with the zipForm system. It's almost like, because you previously was in the CAR website. Now you're going into the zipForm systems website. So it passes your credentials, your username and passwords into the zipForm system. So once they verified, yes, you are a valid member and your membership is current, you have access to it, then this thing turns yellow. Continue. So you continue. Now you will see this screen going into a circle, turning around, turning around, turning around. You see this white circle is spinning around. What it does is updating the system with your desktop software. There is a zipForm desktop you can download from the transaction center, of the website, and you can download that and upload it into your laptop or computer. Remember, that's a full program, so it's only for laptop or computers. If you're using an iPad, you cannot download the software. It will not work for iPad. Your iPad is a mobile device. You have to go to the App Store and download the zipForm mobile applet to use on zipForm on iPad, okay? Now, we're here. at the zipForm. Before we go into a zipForm transaction, I'd like to show you around too, okay? Right here, you see the transaction tools. You click on, you put your mouse over it. There's clause managers, there's lookup fields, there's mortgage calculators. Here it is. See this? Forms advisors, forms tutors. You see the little graduation cap? That's like a tutor teaching you, giving you advice, explaining the form. It won't tell you how to fill it out. It explains the form, how you should use it, okay? They will not teach you how to fill out the form exactly, because that's a licensed activity. But they explain the forms and how you should be using it, okay? And Forms Advisor, that I already showed you that you can answer 5 different areas about your transactions, answer all those questions. And then at the end, summary, it will give you the forms that you will need to make a complete transaction happen, okay? So that's very useful. Clause manager. Let me show you the clause managers. Many times we may be typing clauses that we use over and over and over again. So clause manager is an area where you can save your clauses, okay? You can save your clauses. Oh, personal clauses. I have previously saved these clauses that I may be typing into a field within my transaction. Why do I use this? To save time in typing. For example, as a listing agent, we will give, if the property is built in 1978 or earlier, okay, we will have to give a lead-based paint disclosure. So lead-based paint disclosure, seller is unaware of any lead-based paint issue on the subject property. However, due to the era of the constructions, there is a possibility of the lead paint in the interior of the property. That's my listing agent disclosure clause that I usually use. I seldomly use that anymore because most of the homes I sell nowadays is either built in the 80s, 90s, or the 2000s, okay? But on occasion, when I sell an older home, I still use that. Escrow fee clause. As a selling agent, I use escrow fee clause. It says, buyer and seller each to pay their own respective escrow fees, okay? That's my way of expressing buyer and seller each to pay their own. I know there are some people says 50-50, 50/50. Well, if that's how you want to express it, that's fine, okay? To me, I know that the buyer's escrow fees and the seller's escrow fees are never the same. It's never the exact same fees. So I use the better, to me, it's a more descriptive of the actual situation. You each pay your own fees, okay? It's never a 50-50 split down the middle type of fees. If the buyer is related to me, I have a clause that says all parties are hereby notified that the selling agent is related to the buyer. These are my clauses because we have to make a disclosure. If you're a listing agent, okay, if you're a listing agent and if the seller is related to you, you also have to make that thing, okay? So here is where you can pre-type and pre-save a lot of the clauses. There's library of clauses, which there is no library of clauses. Mostly are personal clauses, okay? Library clauses happens if you're in a company system where the broker has a lot of control. He may have pre-established some clauses, standard clauses that he wants all of the agents to use and use that language. Then he will save them and put it in a library of clauses, okay? So most of the time, I just come here and I have my personal clauses. So that's clause manager. And let me show you very quickly on the mortgage calculator. Mortgage calculators, for example, if today we're selling, say, $600,000 home, and 20% down, that's 120,000. So I will be getting a mortgage loan for 480,000, right? 480,000. And say the interest rate that my client is gonna get is probably around 4.25. I can say 4.25%, okay? And loan terms is a 30-year fixed rate. So 30 years, 360 months. You click here and this is your mortgage payment. But you know how in real estate, we always say PITI, PITI. So PI, this is only the PI, principal and interest. That's your PI payment. Then the other TI is tax and insurance. So property tax. So property tax, you whip out your calculator, and we all know that we estimate the property tax for 600,000, okay, with 1.25%. So that's 7,500 a year divided by 12. That's 625. So yearly, I'm sorry, 7,500 a year, 7,500 a year. It calculates the monthly for you, okay? Homeowner insurance. Homeowner insurance, I always use the annual estimate. This is only an estimation. So 600,000 times 0.35%, 0.35%. That's 35,000. Okay, so it's 0.35%. So expressed in decimal is 0.0035. So I use a calculator. That's $2,100. So for $600,000 home, I estimate the annual insurance to be $2,100. This is a pretty much a industry standard estimation formula, which is 0.35 of the price of the home, 0.35%. So now you get another figure. This is your monthly mortgage payment, which is your principal and interest, the PI. This is your mortgage payment plus your property tax and insurance. So this amount, $3,161, that's your monthly PITI, okay? And down here is where it becomes very valuable. This tool becomes very valuable. Say that we're gonna close escrow in July. We're gonna close escrow in July. So the first mortgage payment occurs on September 1st, okay? Because the federal financing regulations, the RESPA says the first mortgage payment is the first of the month after a complete 30-day cycle. So we're already in July 13th today. So if we close escrow today, we will be charged interest from July 13th to July 31st in escrow. So there will be no mortgage payment due on August 1st because the mortgage interest is paid in arrears. So my first mortgage payment will be September 1st. The September 1st payment pays for the mortgage interest from August 1st to August 31st. So now I have this and first payment. Then I can display a table. This is where this tool becomes very valuable. You see, I can then give this to my client, okay, that, oops, something back. First payment is September. Okay, first payment is September. So it will give me a schedule of amortization, okay? The schedule of amortization, okay? It can go all the way to the end of the, you see the the 360th payment. Oops. Right here, 360th payment. And it gives me the whole amortization table. I can print it out. I can print it out and give it to my client so that they have an idea, yeah, about their mortgage payments. That is a tool that's very useful, okay? At least to me. So let's go about, now we're officially into the zipForm system. Let me just show you something. You know how sometimes we change our company names? You may be switching to a company. When you switch to a company, you go to the association and they will switch you to another office. But the zipForm will never change. The information on the zipForm will never change. You need to do it yourself. So you can either come here and click on me or click on my photo, okay? Either me or my photo. If you want to, it's the same. So you see right here, okay? I can click on me, I get here. You see the profiles and settings? You need to come here and click that. Once you get to the profile and settings, you can input your information, the information that you have changed. For example, if you change your cell phone number, you need to come here and change your cell phone number. If you change your email address, come here to About Me. And offices, when you come to the office, if you changed your office name from U.S. National Realty to, let's say, Pinnacle Real Estate Group, okay? That's fine. You can change that and change your address, office address, 9139 Las Tunas Drive, and in the city of Temple City, just pretend I just changed to this office. I just changed to this office. And this may happen on Friday afternoon and the association office is closed. So you cannot get to the association and change your office officially, but you're writing up a new listing or you're writing up a new offer on Saturday or Sunday. This is where you go and get your information changed on the zipForm. Because when you go to the association, they switch you over to the new real estate office. Your zipForm's information on the very bottom stays the same. Don't forget that. It stays the same. So you need to come here and make the change, okay? And if you, there are also settings. Settings right here, I can say okay. And then settings right here, I use the digital ink e-signature because it's free. I know that last night somebody asked me, if I use DocuSign, where do I go and change that? This is where you go to change it. On your settings, you come here. If you have a DocuSign account, you click here. You use the DocuSign account, okay? This is where the signature time zone, okay? So don't forget to change that because when if this is your first time setting it up, this time zone will be set to Central Mountain Time, okay? That's because zipForm was maintained by a company located in the Central Mountain Time area. So we're in the West Coast. We use Pacific Time Zone. So you need to come here and change that, okay? Make sure you update your system, okay? Here. So if you change the office, you come here and make the change. The very next offer you write, you will have the right office on the bottom. Worst things you can, it'll look like is on your offer, you wrote down you're from Remax 2000, and on the bottom, you still show you're from Coldwell Banker George Realty. It's conflicting. It doesn't look good. It makes your paperwork look sloppy. And to someone who is an experienced agent like me, if I'm a listing agent, I am actually forming an opinion on your professionalism, on how thorough you are in your work. If I see that you change office and the bottom, you didn't change the information, I know you're either uninformed or you're not familiar with our business, or you're not good at, you don't have a good understanding of the zipForm, and I will form an opinion that you're not experienced. And we don't want that. We want to present our work in a professional manner. We want people to look at us as an experienced agent. Even though you may be very new, you still want people to respect you as a real estate professional and not treat you like a new kid on the block, okay? So this is where you update your personal information. Let me go back to the office because I don't want to save it. I didn't save it. Okay, good. Okay, so this is where you update your different information if you change office, okay? Now, let's take a look at the menu bars. The menu bars, there's transaction. I know most everybody just goes straight to transaction and they start creating a new transaction right here, and then they start typing up the offer, okay? That's fine. If that's how you do it, I want to show you a better way. That's why you're coming to this class, okay? I already showed you, where's my pen? I already showed you the toolbar function. I show you how to change the personal info. I also showed you the forms tutor, so that's good. And now I want to show you how to set up templates. You know how we always repeatedly type almost the same information on every offer, except on what? Except on the seller's name, buyer's name, okay, and the property address and the price. The rest is almost exactly the same each and every time, almost, right? So if you use template, you save everything that you normally type in except the buyer's name, the seller's name, the property address, and the listing agent's information and the price, right? So it will save you a lot of typing. So by doing that, you have to watch out. You see where my cursor is. I'm no longer going to be in transaction. I'm moving over the templates. You see that? Templates. I'm click to the templates. This is where I have whole bunch of templates that I have previously created. For example, we're in the COVID era, so I have COVID related forms, okay? Notice of default purchase agreement by investor. We have condo purchase. We have residential purchase with a 30-day escrow templates. I have created residential purchase with 45-day escrow period. Why do I create a different templates? Because maybe when I'm changing the escrow period to 45 days, that's because I need longer time for the loan. So I may not be able to remove the loan contingency in 21 days. I probably have to remove the loan contingency in 35 days. So that's the reason why we have a 45-day escrow. So by creating a template, I will make sure I don't miss that. I will have the information for 45-day escrow, and then my loan contingency period will be changed as well, okay? I also created trust sale template, and I also created a residential listing templates. So as you can see, when you go home today, wait a minute, you are home, okay? After the class today, okay, you can practice by setting up your own templates. But I will demonstrate to you how to create a templates. That way you can set up your own templates, okay? So you're in the templates. pretend that you don't see any of the templates. This is going to be the very first templates that you use. So you do new, okay? You come to templates, you go new. And then it says, I'm gonna create a purchase template. So I'm new purchase. I come to this screen. Give it a name. Today is July 13th. Don't use my name because I'm doing sample, okay? Sample, RES, purchase, 30 day, because most people are doing 30 days. And this is going to be a residential purchase, okay? And do not automatically apply other templates. So I save this. I save this. Now I will be in my template. You see, there's no forms selected. My template is completely empty because this is the very first template I'm going to be using. So I come here to all forms. First forms I want to pick up is what? Residential purchase agreement, right? That actually is a 4 forms in a package, okay? And then you need to think throughout your transaction, besides the residential purchase agreement, what's the very next forms you'll be using? The very next form you'll be using will be agent visual inspection disclosure, because after you open escrow, okay, the first thing you'll do is schedule a physical inspection, and you also have to do your own agent visual inspection disclosure. So I put it here. So when I open a residential purchase transaction, all the forms I usually will be using, basic forms I'll be using, are all here. So after the agent visual inspection, okay, what's the next step? Seller give me their disclosure forms. Then I will review everything with the buyer. And then what do we do next? Let me think. I will be doing request for repairs. So I go down, this is alphabetical. I can go to here, go to R. That's a lot of scrolling, right? Request for repairs. Request for repairs right here, okay? I can select it here, but let me also show you a quick way. If you don't remember the exact form name and you just remember something have to do with repair, R-E-P-A-I-R-S, repair. You see, you type in the word and it matches some form, okay? Some part of the name of the form. So, I remember something about repair. Now, request for repair is coming up. So I can select that. And of course, you know, you can have request for repair number 1, and the seller may give you a response, you know, and then you do something else, okay? What else you may be using? I may be using an addendum later on, okay? So I might as well put it in, ADD, addendum number 1. Put in at least 1 addendum. What else? After we finish with our negotiation request for repair, what else do we do? Contingency removal, right? So you can scroll down to C for contingency removal right here. Or you can type in CR. The form's initial also work. You see that? CR, contingency removal. Any part of the name of the form that has the letter CR, okay? So this is cooperating, whatever, CR, and you have contingency removal. So this is a shorter way of scrolling down alphabetical all the way down to, you know, to the place you are. So contingency removal. How many removal do we use? We use 2. So we have CR1 and CR2. One is for the 17-day, and the second one is for removing the loan contingency, all contingencies, okay? So that's the second one, okay? So, and some broker wants you to use cooperating in a broker compensation. I know that some company requires you to use that, even though you're using the MLS and it already has the commission offering. I know some broker wants that, that's fine, okay? Then after contingency removal, the next form we may be using is verification of property condition, right? Verification. Verification of property condition. That's for your final walkthrough. Then that's pretty much the basic flow of a purchase transaction. So now I have my forms selected. My forms are all selected in my basic residential purchase, 30-day purchase template, right? Now, I want to show you how we save time now. We come here in our initial setup. In our initial setup, we set up company, right? So company name. If you typed it before, your company name will be here. The key for you to save time is do as little typing as possible. I am always representing buyers, so I'll put buyers here. I click on buyers. The name, I don't know yet, right? Buyer's name is unknown. I don't do anything here. But my company license. Okay, that's the corporation license. And then my license. And then my name. My name as it appears on your real estate license, okay? My name, full name is Brian Chen. So I put that on. Now, you'll notice that everywhere, it will be already filled out, buyer's brokerage. You see that? That's how you save a lot of time, okay? Now, I come to the offer. I don't put in the date, I don't put in the buyer's name, and I don't put in the property address. What do I put here? I put in 30 days because this is my 30-day template. Over here, I want to click on the buyer because I represent the buyer. This is my purchase. So I'm writing an offer for my buyer. I don't do anything here, but over here on the loans, I may put periodically, okay, 1% for origination fee, okay? That's my upper limit. Just remember, when you come to the, when you write up an offer, you want to protect your buyer by putting up a percentage of interest here. I don't want to put it in my templates because you know why? The interest rates fluctuates, goes up and down, up and down. So I would not know a year from now what my interest rate protection should be. So I leave it blank because for each offer that I write, my buyer should have a loan pre-approval letter that will have an interest rate written on it. As a rule of thumb, if your buyer is approved at 4.25, you will put here not 4.25. You put here a 1/4% higher, okay? Because that's your upper limit. What this means is if I put 4.5 here in this box right here, that means my offer says if by the time we get to close the escrow, if the interest rate is more than 4.5, I can walk away. I don't want to buy, okay? Up to the point that I remove the loan contingency, okay? So this will have a protection for the buyer. Why? What if the interest rate rises so high, it went, by the time loan contingency is ready to be removed, the interest rate is already at 5%, and your buyer cannot afford the mortgage payment at 5%. So you put a limit at 4.5 or 4.75, that means 5% is too high. Your buyer can just simply cancel, okay? You have a protection for your buyer. Now, over here, I know a lot of time people would click on statewide buyer and seller advisory. Personally, I don't, okay? I don't. That's just my personal opinion. Over here, I want the seller to pay for the environmental, okay? I mean, the natural hazard. And then seller's choice, okay? As a habit, I put down here, I'm sorry, seller to give me a termite report, okay? That's fine. If you want the seller to pay for the termite report or obtain a termite report for you, that's fine. But if you don't put it here, buyers still have the right to do a termite report. It's just that buyer will be the one who's ordering the termite report, okay? So I know that some people was put down here, buyer is going to do a physical inspection. Of the property, okay? Not a personal physical inspection, but it's physical inspection of the property and prepared by buyer's choice, okay? So that's fine too. And if you still want the seller to do a termite report, you can put it here, okay? And you know what? A lot of old-time agents like me, I've been in the business for over 30 years. I like to let the seller know that I expect them to pay for the termite completion, okay? Then I will tip them off. Right now, I want to let them know that's what I expect. And if they have an issue, to let me know. So we need to negotiate that. I like to get that squared away because that's usually the most expensive repair the seller will be facing if, there's termite issues. So I like to say plus all section 1 work identified by the report. So it's very simple. Seller, you provide me with a termite report, and if there's section 1 work, that means current problems, I want you to repair it, okay? And then by seller's choice, okay, of a licensed, okay, pest control company, okay? By the way, everything you type here, because you're in the template, this will stay here forever. So you don't have a problem, okay? So if you type it over here like that, that's fine. Now, over here, 7.7B2 is buyer and seller, buyer or seller who pays shall pay for the cost of compliance with any other minimum mandatory government inspections and reports. I usually, for my templates, I put in here, seller to pay for that. That is, for example, in the city of El Monte, city of Los Angeles, I know Pomona has it. There's some other cities that has it, that the city will require a city inspection when you do sales on a residential property. They come in to verify the property, make sure there's no violations. So that's what this is. And for the heck of it, I usually click here too. Pay for the compliance with mandatory retrofit standards. Or you don't have to. This is not a, this is not a must. So it's always negotiable at the end. So you can either put it here or you don't, okay? But over here, escrow, right? I use the clause manager. This is how you use it. You see the pen mark? I click here and there's a scroll, that's a clause. It turns on the clause manager, okay, personal, and I'll say it's a selling agent, and I select down escrow fees, okay, escrow fee clause. Then I don't have to type it. Insert, you see that? That clause is already inserted for us, okay? And unless you have a company policy to use a particular company, otherwise you let the seller choose, that's fine too. And seller pays for the owner's title insurance issued by, okay, unless you have a preference, otherwise that's fine too, okay? Buyer or seller. In Southern California, seller pay for the county transfer tax. That is $1.10 per thousand, okay? $1.10 per thousand. But if you're in the city, if you're in the city of Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles has a $4, I think it's $4.5 per thousand city transfer tax. But you don't know whether or not there's one. So you say, if any. If any. That means if there is one, seller pay for it. If it doesn't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. So I have if any here. And because I'm buying a residential, this is not a condo, okay? So on a regular residential, there is no HOA, usually. There's no HOA, okay? And the next fee I usually have the buyer pay for is an upgraded home protection plan, okay? And usually will cover the air conditioning, okay? I put down buyer's choice here. Why? This is home protection, home warranty, okay? Home warranty, and I let the buyer choose which company. I know that many people, they may put on roof. That depends on the age of the property, so I leave it blank, okay? And I always, don't forget to check here, stove, okay? Stove is always, you want the stove to stay with the property. So don't forget to check here. Otherwise, you may end up with seller removing the stove and buyer expects you to buy them a new stove, okay? So don't get trapped in that. Other than that, your offer is pretty much done, okay? Your offer is pretty much done. So with today's environment, we're in the COVID-19 situation. In my company, I require this form to be used, okay? Which is a CVA, okay? Or Corona, okay, virus addendum or amendment, okay? Coronavirus addendum or amendment. That's the form CVA. And by the way, we did not choose that. So we'll add that form, okay, into our templates. Right here is where I type out the company address. And my telephone. I don't know who, it's been years and years I ever used my fax number. But if you have a fax number like me, put it in there, okay? But this is an internet fax. Whatever I put in here, if they do send me a fax, it actually comes to my email. It's not an actual fax machine, okay? So it's a virtual fax machine. And I don't fill in anything about the seller's thing. Now, I have my template pretty much saved up. So let's go back. And I need to add one more form, CVA. Okay, I'm doing a residential purchase, so I use this CVA. If I'm doing a lease, it's called coronavirus lease rental addendum, but I'm not doing lease right now, I'm doing this. So coronavirus addendum is right here, okay? Let me just show you. In the beginning, you type in the buyer seller's name, blah, 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 right? Okay, and right here, if you don't make any checks, you just simply tell them, hey, there is a worldwide coronavirus going on. And this form is intended to let people see that, hey, there may be an unforeseen circumstance. It doesn't exist now, but who knows? Maybe during the escrow, my buyer can get sick. And you know what? During the escrow, the seller can get sick. So the seller, this form is for both buyer and seller's protection. A lot of people don't understand this form, and sellers say, no, I don't want to use this because I don't want them to back out using coronavirus as an excuse. They forgot what happened if 2 days before close of escrow, the sellers came down with coronavirus and is been ordered to stay home, quarantined at home until they're completely healed. This can be 14 days. This could be 30 days. This could be 60 days. Okay, hopefully it doesn't drag out that long, because usually that means the seller is with risk to the sent to the hospital in intensive care. But most people will recover 30 days or so. So that's why there's a thing. We will extend the terms 30 days, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, we just simply inform both parties, hey, there is a pandemic, coronavirus pandemic. There could be possibility of something happen to either of us. We agreed we will cooperate with each other, okay? Good faith. This whole thing is about cooperating to close the transaction, okay? So anyway, for those listing agents who would not let their sellers sign this, they are really not trained properly, okay? They are not being trained properly. It is not, this is actually for buyers and sellers protection. And if they don't let their seller sign, they're not giving the seller the proper advice. I don't know what else to say. They may think that this way the buyer cannot use coronavirus. No. If something happened, the buyer can still use coronavirus. Notice of unforeseen right here. Notice of unforeseen circumstance. This is a form. This form, by signing it in the beginning, is to educate buyer and seller, okay? That way, later on, when something did happen, the buyer or the seller still need to give the other party a NUCC. This is a procedure. These are all new since March of this year, okay? So this is something that a lot of brokers still don't know. They don't understand it. And it's too bad. But anyway, okay. So my offer is pretty much written. Hey, let me tell you, if you save this template, I will show you how I'm going to write up an offer in just a few minutes. You save a lot of time, okay? Now I'm back to the list. What is the newest? The newest templates I created is right here. Just remember that place. Now, I have shown you how to set up a template. I also want you to set up, I want to show you how to set up checklist. You know what? The checklist is not even here. They moved it. I have to find out from zipForm what happened to the checklist templates. It's not here. Let me just say something else. There is no checklist. Ah, okay, that's fine. Let me back up because I want to delete this. They moved it. They changed it, so that's fine. Okay, I want to show you how to do a checklist because checklist is very useful. The system has a way of reminding yourself when a task is due. When a task is due. So when you're in a sales transaction, what are some of the tasks that's maybe due? Okay, the first 3 days, you need to remind yourself to remind the client, don't forget to wire the initial deposit to escrow, right? So that's the first task, right? Second task is to schedule physical inspection and AVID, correct? That's second task. Third task, remind the listing agent that the seller disclosure is due. When is the seller disclosure due? On the 7th day. So when do you want to remind the listing agent? On the 7th day, because you don't want to remind them too early because they may intend to give it to you. You don't want to appear to be very nagging, okay? So you wait until the 7th day. After the 7th day, you know it's late. You want the system to email you to remind you to contact the listing agent. And if you receive an email from the system say contact the listing agent for seller disclosure and you already got it, then what do? Simply ignore it. Don't worry about it, right? Or you go in there and says it's complete, okay? That's fine. So I want to show you how you can set up the template for the checklist. You come to here, the same place, you create a new, and I want you to do a purchase. This is a purchase transaction checklist. So I will name this, okay, demo, okay, 30-day checklist. Purchase, 30-day purchase checklist is for residential property, okay? That's fine. Then you save. I saved it. Now I come here. You see over here, I can select documents. I want to select documents in here, or I select checklist here. They put it here, checklist. So I select the checklist. You see over here, it says calendar and checklist, right? Okay, now I want to put in a new checklist. So new checklist. Let's do that. That's just simply go into the checklist because I already named it 30-day purchase. So that's just click here on checklist. I can't. They changed the functions. By the way, the system recently bought by Wolf Wolf company, Wolf something or another. They did some system change. But anyway, new checklist. I call it buyer's task. That's fine. I save it. Okay, now I want to create a new task. So I come here. You see over here, the due dates. I always use relative, okay? I always use relative. Why? Relative to 1 day before or after. So for example, The first task is buyer initial deposit wire to escrow, right? I will say that relative, I will say that that's remind the buyer on the second day. That's fine. Or whatever day, okay? Remember, your buyer's initial deposit is due on the 3rd business day. This is the only time in our transaction we use business day, which is the 3rd business day, okay? So if you want to remind your buyer on the 2nd day, that's fine, okay? And that's after acceptance, offer acceptance date. Most of our purchase transactions, our relative date are offer acceptance, okay? Here is a selection, listing dates and closing dates, before closing dates and all that. So I put in offer acceptance date, okay? And I will say assign this to selling agent, me. So notify when due. Remember, you got to check this. If you don't check this, the system will not notify you. Then this is a useless thing, okay? And you can say a description if you want. You can say remind buyer to wire EMD, earnest money deposit, to escrow. This is a note to yourself. So whatever makes sense to you, okay? If you'd like to type it very long, you have a long description. If you're like me, just give me a reminder, I will remember. This is a required, okay? This is absolutely required. So you check that. That's it. That's one task you have just set up, okay? That's one task. Let me move this. That's one task you have just set up. And you, on the bottom right here, you want to click on save. You want to click on save. You guys can all see these screen changes, right? From time to time, I do want to ask. Fang, did you guys see all the screen changes?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Fang,
Yes, can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, my speaker was off. Fang?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, great. It makes me feel safer because sometimes this screen doesn't get transferred or doesn't get changed. So the next task, okay, I'm not going to go through the entire transaction. So the next task is, oops, sorry, create new task. Create new task. What is the next one? Schedule, inspection, and AVID, okay? Same thing, relative to 2 days. Within 2 days, I want to schedule that after acceptance, okay? And this is required, and this is to assign to who? I'm the selling agent, assigned to selling agent. And to make appointment, okay? So I'll do that, save. The next task is what? Call listing agent on seller disclosure, right? So that's relative, and that's after 7 days. 7 days after the offer acceptance date. So you can see that most of our purchase task is always after acceptance, except one thing. So I want to come to me, remind me, okay? You see over here, if you put in listing agent and you put in listing agent's email address in your transaction, this system will actually email the listing agent instead of you, okay? But you don't want your transaction to email listing agent because the listing agent may look at this and says, what is this? I don't know this system because it's coming from a system email. So they may not even bother to read it. They may delete it. So let it remind you so you can remind listing agent, okay? Seller disclosure are due on the 7th day, okay? And let me just do one more for you, okay? Create new task, which is new task name, formulate request. Or, well, actually, the next thing is you're going to be reviewing, okay? Just say all disclosures. And create RR, okay, request for repair. And you do that when? I would suggest you start doing that on the 10th day or 11th day, okay? I will give it 3 days after. So 3 days after the seller deliver all of the disclosures, you call the buyer. Say, hey, Mr. Buyer, I'd like to meet with you and we can go over all of the disclosures and formulate our request for repair list, okay? So you have your title, okay? Usually when I read the title, I know what it is. I don't have to do description, okay? But you do what you want. So let me just show you one more. When we do verification, or you say final walkthrough, right? Final walkthrough, relative. Okay, relative to what? When do we do final walkthrough on our contract? 5 days before closing date, right? 5 days before closing date. See, this is where the before comes in, okay? It is required. And assigned to who? Assigned to selling agent because you want to call your buyer, okay? Okay. So this is your, probably this is the last task you do before close of escrow because it's 5 days. Because after you do the final walkthrough, the buyer goes in and sign the loan docs and the lender funds, you close escrow. So this is a very basic checklist, okay, template. This is a very basic because in the middle, you may want to say, you know, check on this, check on that. I did not do the contingency removal with you, okay? Because I'm not designed to go through the entire transaction. You get the idea. So on the contingency removal, you set up on the 17th day or 16th day, say CR number 1 with the buyer, go over CR number 1. And then on the 20th day, you say, go over CR number 2 with the buyer. That way you can have it ready for delivery on the 21st day and on the 17th day. So whatever, this is how you do it. You set up all of your tasks here, okay? This is your task template, which is called the checklist. Checklist simply say, whatever I need to do, check, 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 I'm done, right? It's a reminder system to help you facilitate your transaction. Okay, now we have our template set up. Back to list, okay? Back to list. Now, I want to I want to show you how we do an actual purchase agreement and create an actual purchase transaction using the templates and using the templates and the checklist together, okay? Now, so we simply go to transactions. And there is a feature, we call it MLS Connect. MLS Connect. What that feature does is, if I'm going to write up an offer, obviously I would know the MLS number of the listing number of that property, correct? So in the beginning, if I tell my transaction, hey, this is the listing in our MLS and here is the MLS number, it will actually import the listing agent's information for you. It will actually import all of the listing agents' company information, listing agents' information, their their name and everything for you. So here is and the license numbers. So here is a few more keystroke you can save, and saves you the time you have to look it up. But one thing you have to know whenever you are going to write up an offer is when you're looking at the listing in the MLS, you need to click on the APN number. When you click on the APN number, it takes you to the Realtors tax website, and you can find out the seller's name. Seller's name is very important. You need to know the seller's name when you write up an offer, correct? Don't just leave that blank, okay? Don't just leave that blank. So you need to write up the seller's name. So you need to look it up before you write up an offer. Look it up before you write up an offer. So today, before the class started, I already selected a listing that's in Arcadia, okay? So let's do a brand new. I'm going to create a brand new transaction. And I want to show you how much time you can save by utilizing the templates, okay? By utilizing the templates. I'm going to write an offer just like you would. So I create a new one, right? This is a new purchase. And what is the I usually use the property address. So I will say demo, okay? You don't write in demo, okay? This is me, because I need to know this is a demonstration transaction, okay? So I will write demo, and then the property address, 306 Joyce Avenue, Arcadia. Okay. 91006. You see right here, it says MLS Connect. Here is my transaction. And I'm going to use MLS Connect. Why? Because here is the listing and I want to find it. So I don't have to keep on typing all those listing agent information. 820000176. This is the listing number in our MLS. I want to include the property photo because I want to make sure it is the right property. So I say find, oops, 1760, I'm sorry, 1760. 820001760. Find. Now it should find the listing for me already. You see that? Okay. That's a living room. Yes, that's the right property. Remember to check that, okay? Please. And okay, so now I found the right property and I will say use the listing. Then over here, you see where it says my templates? Okay, select templates. I click on here, all of the templates I have created are here. And because we're using a new templates today, you see the personal today, I create a sample residence 30. Okay, residential 30. And then I say save. Okay, right here, okay? You can enter your buyer's name, your whatever, your listing agent's name, seller's name, or whatever. Listing agent company is already here. You see that? Listing agent's information is already here. Why? It imported from the MLS Connect. Isn't that nice? Yes, say yes. Just being agree with me, okay? Good. So buyer, I will put in my buyer's name here, right? Sample buyer number 1, okay? And I can put in their email address. I'm using mine because I want to demonstrate for you. Okay, so buyer's name is in here, their email address is in here. This is very important. Okay, so, oops, sorry. Buyer, I would say, number 1. Okay, that's better. Sample buyer number 1. Or, okay, sample buyer is the first name and the last name is number 1. Okay, that's fine. It works. Okay, so I have the address, email address, okay, of the buyer. Then I save it. You save it into the system and the buyer's information is there. Okay, if you have buyer number 2, you continue on to buyer number 2. If you're buyer number 3. Right now, I don't know what my escrow officer is. You see over here, add templates. This is where you add the checklist. This is where you add the checklist, okay? Now, you have your, I usually don't add the checklist until I know I have an acceptance. So I do that later, but I just want to point out to you, this is where you add the checklist template, okay? You need to remember this. This is where you add the checklist template, okay? Now I go to my documents. See, my documents are here. So I want to fill out the rest of the purchase agreement. Remember, over here, the sample buyer, you see that? It's already inputted for me, so it's so nice. I don't have to retype it again. Sample buyer right here, right? Okay, now, this property, the list price is $945,000. So it's a very nice property. I will give it 940. Okay, so I'm offering 940. What is my initial deposit for 940? $28,200. So I put in here initial deposit to be $28,200, correct? I don't fill in anything. And my buyer is already pre-approved at 2.375. Okay, so I add a 0.25%, 4.375. So it's 4.625. Okay, that's the highest interest my buyer will go. And what is the loan amount? My buyer is putting down 30%. So it's 940 times 0.7. That's the loan amount, 658. See the math? You don't even have to do the math, okay? You don't even have to do the math. Okay, so this, most people don't put anything on here, okay? You could put here conventional loan, okay, if you want, but nobody ever do that. Very few people. And verification of down payment, this buyer already gave me a verification of down payment. And this offer is created today. When you put the offer date there or here, it will automatically show up, okay? Everything is in. is done. My offer is done. Guys, my offer is done. I don't have to type anything. Oh, wait a minute. I do. Why? Where is the seller's name? Seller's name need to be here. And my seller's name is Richard. I'm sorry. Let me just do demo seller number 1. Okay. And demo number 2. Okay. The only thing real on this offer is the listing agent's information. You see where the listing agent's information, I don't even have to type that in. It is already done for me by the computer system. So that's the power of MLS Connect using a template to create a transaction. Okay. And we present the offer, blah, blah, blah. And once it's done and we're in escrow, once we're in escrow, I go back to the summary and I put in my checklist, demo 30-day purchase checklist. You see that? The one we just created. Okay. Save it. The checklist is in there. Now I have to put in more information because the offer is accepted. So we have to put in the commission on all that and sales size splits and listing summaries and all that. Okay. So you just have to remember you need to start adding more dates. Okay. And this is the active transaction. And by the way, when you close escrow, don't forget here to come here to say it is closed. Please don't forget that. Okay. Right here, one thing very important, I want you guys to know, you need to come here and say what date it was accepted. Okay, remember all of our calendar days are based on what day it was accepted. So if you say acceptance date is July 14th, everything is calculating, okay? And it's a 30-day escrow. So you put in your closing day. If your opening day is July 14th, what's your closing day? July 13th. I mean, August 13th, sorry. August. Oops. On your escrow closing date. Change it, closing date. August 13th. August 13th is a Thursday, okay? Okay, August 13th. And possession day is the same. August 13th, okay? And if you want to put in the other commission summary, the system will track how much you have earned and all that for you. But I usually leave that because my company have a different system to use. So I don't use that, okay? I can add more documents here. I don't have to. Now, because, let's go back. I want to go back. I want to demonstrate. Oops, did I? Don't tell me I didn't save it. I saved it. Let me, I know why. I need to refresh. I need to refresh. I forgot. This is, I'm using Firefox. My transaction is here now. Okay. Now, I want to show you how to do e-signature. E-signature. Hold on. Setting up checklist is done. Creating a new sales transaction is done. E-signature. Good. What time is it now? 11 o'clock. We have plenty of time. Good. I want to show you how to do e-signature correctly, because many times people just select something and they don't know how to set it up properly. Okay. I want to let you know that when you do e-signatures, you not only do the purchase agreement. Whenever they send back to you, you want to send it back to the buyer to sign again, which is a PDF document they sent to you. You can also send that through the e-signature. And I want to show you how you can add document, okay, into your e-signature document. So you can send it to the buyer for signature, okay? First of all, when you're doing a transaction, you're in here and you go to the document, right? You want to do the purchase agreement, of course. And in the purchase agreement, there's two people going to need to sign, okay? One is you, the selling agent, okay? Buyer's agent. Because you want to sign the buyer's agent's portion of the agency disclosure and on the offer form. So buyer's agent. And then you need the buyer's signature. Okay, so let me do this for you. You see, you're in the form. You don't have to be in the form, actually. You could be out here, okay? You could be out here. You can see the e-sign, okay? E-signature sign. Or you're inside the form, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. As long as you see the e-sign, you could be actually not even in this page. You could be back into your summary page. You see the e-sign right here? You can access e-signature here too, okay? So you can be pretty much, but you have to be in your transaction. That means this transaction, okay? This transaction right here. You have to be inside your transaction. So let's just go to the document and do e-sign. By the way, when I do the e-sign, I will show you where I can add another outside document. Actually, you can add document right here if you want. Once you add a PDF document, it will show up here. So you can add the document here right now if you want, but I want to show you where I can add document while I'm doing the e-signature, okay? So let's do e-signature. Okay. You see right here, add external documents. I want to add one document. So let's go browse for the document. This could be any PDF documents. Why do I say that? Because many times we have companies that have their own company PDF documents that they want buyer to sign. Even though my company doesn't have one, but let's pretend I have to attach a PDF document for people to sign. So let's go to where I previously saved up a document. July 13th. And there is a PDF report. I mean, 9A report. Okay. And say here is a 9A report I want to add. So right here, I just also added another external document in here. This Zoom thing keep on blocking my view. And I want to select and close. You see right here, I have 9A report and residential. I selected two documents. I added one, right? And I selected one. And I want to set up for the signature now. I'm using the signature digital ink 1.0. Actually, pretty soon, 1.0 is going to be phased out. We will use the 2.0. Okay, so now I'm going to set up for myself to sign, and I also want buyer to sign. Buyer 1. Notice there's the same email address. This is only for class demonstrations. Normally, you will have the buyer's email, okay? Buyer's email address. You got to remember that. But today, because I want to show you what agent signs and then what after the agent signs, what does a buyer see, I want to demonstrate that to you. So I use my email address, the same, okay? In real life, in your own transactions, these two email addresses are never the same. You have to use the real email address of your buyer right here, okay? Do not put your own email there and e-sign for your buyer. That is a felony. You can go to jail, you can lose your license and go to jail, okay? Do not. So what I'm demonstrating is only for the class demo purpose only, okay? Boy, this menu all looks different. I have selected. Okay. The next step is to get people to sign. But I don't, okay. Here is an advertisement. If you want cyber safe, unlimited cyber safe security, okay, it will be, they have to enter their own social security number and credit card number. Forget it. People don't like that. Just say no thanks. Come on, come on, come on. We don't have all day. What's going on? Oh, okay, good. The e-signature system is an outside system. You're actually outside in a different company's website. You guys can see the screen, right? You see the screen change? You see the scrolling here? This is very important, okay? I want to set up something for signature, but this is not for my signature. This one is actually for the buyer's signature. So I will say, I'm setting this form up for the buyer number 1. You see that? And where does he sign? Right here, read and approve, right? So that's a signature, right? Signature right here, buyer 1. Put right in here. And then for this page, this is the seller declaration, okay? Seller declaration. I just want the buyer's initial right here, just so that buyer can see that we have some documentation that the buyer actually received it. Okay, and you can do whatever. This form, if you have other, for example, the rest of the forms you don't have to do for the buyer. You know why? Because these are simple CAR forms, and then the buyer already knows. The system already set up where buyer's signature. The only thing you need to set it up is for the different, oh, right here. I wanted the buyer's signature right here too, okay? That's for the buyer's vesting, whatever, the escrow instruction. So whatever external document you want buyer to sign, you can set it up, okay? And if you want buyer to sign right here, you can do that. But in a 9A report, you never want the buyer to sign right here, unless the buyer is making declaration, said, yes, I will do all these. This is dependent on the seller. If they have anything that says will be installed, okay, who will install it? The buyer will then come here and says, I will install it, okay? So do not have the buyer sign the 9A report. This is a property in Los Angeles that has a 9A report, city inspection report. But anyway, I'm just doing additional document as a external document as a sample to you. So you don't have to worry about it, okay? Now, I'm all set. Go to sign, go to send. Here is one packet ready to be sent. I will send it. Do you guys see my email right now? I haven't received the email. This email is taking a long time. Why? Oh, right here. Okay. Right here, this is the email I received as a selling agent. It says, hello, Brian. This is Brian. Oh, you know, Brian from Brian. Okay. This is ready for you to sign. You go ahead and click on sign document. You guys are seeing these changes, right? The screen change. Fawn?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. You see, use default. Let's go. And it will take me to the document. Okay. You have two choices. You have either go or let me review. Go is a shortcut. It takes you right to where you need to sign. So right here, you see how it skipped? But I can still scroll back to look at what the document is. So I click here. It takes me to the next place I want to sign. Okay. And next place I need to sign. And I'm done. I'm finished. As a selling agent, I'm finished. Once I click on finished, I don't have to review. So I'm closed. Now, my portion is done. After my portion is done, the system will recollect the document and send it to the buyer. So we have to do the waiting again. Right here, here is the buyer. Pretend that I'm the buyer. This is what the buyer sees. You see, who is it from? ZipLogical Digital Ink. So don't forget, when you do your e-signatures, call up your buyer, says, I am sending you e-signatures. You will be receiving an email from ZipLogic Digital Ink, not from Brian Chen, not from me, your agent, from ZipLogic. Don't delete that. Let me tell you, I have buyers. The agents never contact the buyer. The buyer saw this and think it's a junk mail, delete it. Gone, delete it. Then the agents keep on waiting and waiting. The buyer's waiting on the agent. The buyer's getting mad on the agent because they never see any email from the agent. So you got to remember to call up your buyer, okay? So remember when you see this, open it up, okay? Oh, thank you. This is not. Okay. So remember to tell your buyer to click to open and sign the document. Please sign the document. Otherwise, they don't know. I mean, they're expecting your email address. So this is the buyer accept, and next use the, see, sample buyer number 1. Okay, I accept that signature, let's go. Here is what the buyer then would need to do, okay? Most likely the buyer will say, let me review, because they want to see everything that they need to sign. They say, okay, I'll sign right here, and scroll down, and they'll say, oh, I need to initial right here, okay? And I need to sign right here. Next thing is, okay, here. I want you to remind your buyer something, because a lot of people don't remind their buyer, and their buyer don't pay special attention. You see the initial is green, okay, or blue, or light blue, whatever, teal, okay? This color, that means they're signing it. When it comes down to liquidated damage, you see there's 2 colors here. You see that? One on top is initial, one is opt out. You gotta remind your buyer, when you get to liquidated damage and arbitration, please be careful. Click on the blue tab, not the pink one. I don't know why this system put in them so close, but buyer can, I have seen buyer thinking they're clicking on the blue, but their cursor is right on the pink, but they think they're there, okay? So be careful. Tell them to move the cursor all the way up to click it, okay? To click it. Otherwise, they're opting out by accident. They don't even know, okay? Okay, then I'm done. I'm done. Finish. Oh, okay, good. I'm done. Close. I don't want to review. Now, let's go back to the zipForm. I am back in here in my transaction. It's not here yet. I want to wait a little bit because it will actually have a folder, a new folder that the system creates for you. And that will have all the documents in there, okay? But your documents, that's where you can retrieve your document, or you can go to, as a agent, you can go to your email address, okay? And you can sign documents ready, okay? So you can come here and let's go to the transaction. I haven't received it yet. Come on. Let's see if it's in the transaction yet. Go to document. Oh, right here. Signature packet. You see that? This is a new folder that after the document is all done, the document is right here. SA report and purchase agreement. Okay? This is where you can find the document and you can send it out again to the listing side. Okay? This is where you go. Okay. Now, digital signature is done demonstrating. I want to show you guys something very important and very useful, okay? Which is the most underutilized feature in our system. The most underutilized feature in our system. Let's go to agent visual. We all do agent visual inspection disclosure. And let's pretend that I'm doing one right now. That today, Brian and the buyer and the physical inspectors are at the property and we're doing, the physical inspector is inspecting the property and I'm doing the AVID for my buyer, okay? So first thing is, who is doing the thing is U.S. National Realty, okay? Page 1, this area you must fill it out because it's performed by which company. A lot of times people forget and this area is blank. I review all my documents from my agents and I see a lot of common mistakes. Let's pretend today is 17, okay? I'm doing the physical inspection and everything, and then what time? Let's say 11:30 a.m. Okay, and weather condition, sunny, and where's the and sign? Sunny and clear. Or you can spell it out, sunny and clear. Who are there? Brian Chen, buyer number 1, right? And the inspector, home, and maybe the seller is there. Okay, seller number 1. Okay, you're supposed to write it out as complete as possible. And in the entry, last night I've taken some photos around my house. So I'll show you all the imperfections in my house, okay? But just a few, because I don't want this to turn into a long AVID class, but I want to show you this feature of attaching photos because it is such a useful feature, okay? Entry, I notice in my entry on the wall, I have scuff mark on the south wall. By the way, this is Brian. I'm very precise when I do things and when I say things. When you tell people, oh, there's a scuff mark on the wall. Where? Which wall? you look around, any room that you are in, there's at least 3, usually 4, but at least 3, okay? Usually there are 4 walls. So how do you identify which wall you're talking about? I always say, which wall? I know what the house direction is facing. As a real estate professional, you're supposed to know whether or not your house is facing east, north, south, or west, right? So when you enter, if your property is facing west, on your right-hand side is south wall. On the left-hand side is the north wall, correct? So when I walked in the entry, there is a scuff mark on the wall to my right. So that's the south wall, okay? So there's only south wall. Don't say right wall, left wall, because the reader may not know you're referencing to which orientation, okay? If you're facing your front door, then it's a left wall. But if you're standing at the front door facing into the property, it's the right wall. But there's only one south wall. You understand? So use the more precise description. So I say scuff mark on the south wall. Okay, here is something I want you guys to think about. You see right here, click more. You guys see this? Click more, and then you'll see photos, okay? I can actually take photos and save it to my computer. And when I'm typing up my AVID form, I can actually attach the photo right here, okay? Before I do that. You see this line right here? This line is the page line. You gotta be in the same page. You don't want to do it like this and attach photo because it will be attached to this page, not the page you want to be. So you want to make sure, and the way I do it is I move the cursor, move the phone right to the entry part, and I say attach photo. And then I will attach photo. And entry right here. See, I name my photos by the room reference first. So it's easy. Right now I'm at the entryway, entry, scuff mark on the south wall. I want you to notice how I named the file, okay? Because the way I named the file will save me typing later. I'll show you. It says right here, caption, entry, scuff mark on the wall, on the south wall. I no longer have to type it out. I don't have to type the caption in my report. I just simply, okay. And when I click on OK, you see the photo is right here already. All I have to do is move it over here. Okay, then I have a photo reference. Some people like to put it right here. That's fine. You can put it anywhere as long as you are in the entry box, okay? So whichever, is to your preference. And the living room, I have 2 problems in the living room, okay? I have scratch mark on the wood floor, okay? And damage, where is the living room? Wood floor damage, okay? That's good. I already said those 2, right? So I just put it right here and I attach photos, more photos. Living room, right here, scratch mark on the living room floor. You can only attach 1 at a time, by the way. So do 1. It's right here. Okay, and do 1 more. Wood floor damage. Okay. Nothing in the dining room. One principle. If you don't see anything wrong in the dining room, don't leave it blank. It says, write something. No visual okay, no visual damage noted. And in the kitchen, I have two things in the kitchen. I have a cracked floor tile and okay, guys, whenever you have a room with a sink, your job is to look underneath the sink to see whether or not there are water stains or signs of previous water damage. That's your job as a visual inspection, okay? So don't forget, anytime you have bathrooms, kitchens, or if you have a laundry room, you gotta look underneath the sink, okay? And your job is to look. Your job is not to remove anything that's blocking your view. So if you cannot see anything, you probably have noticed in some of the reports, inspector will say, view blocked by objects, cannot determine. Same thing, I'm just writing here, kitchen sink cabinet, view blocked, okay? That's to tell me the view was blocked, I cannot see, okay? And I have a cracked floor, so I took photos. Kitchen. Here's a third problem. I forgot to write down kitchen grout. Okay. So that's one photo. Let's move the form up a little bit so I don't have to move that photo too far. Hallway bath. Okay, bedroom number 1. Bedroom number 2. Okay. Hold on. Let me change something. Cancel. Okay. And bedroom number 3. and the bathrooms, okay? By the way, bedroom number 1, bedroom number 2, I would put, like, if it's bedroom, I have the south bedroom or whatever. That way you can identify, because your bedroom number 2 may not be bedroom number 2 of another person. So, and there's no label on the door. So that way I use the direction as a okay, as an identifier, center bedroom, okay? So there's a bedroom on the north, which is the master bedroom. There's a bedroom on the south, the other end, and there's a bedroom number 3, the center bedroom. So that way you can easily identify. And bathroom number 1, and bathroom number 2, which is the hallway bath, I will write in there, hallway bathroom. And there is a couple of problems there. I'll just write down. That's one problem. And then another problem is missing. Okay. And no sign of water damage under the bathroom sink. Okay. And I'll do the same thing over here. I forgot. There's a reason why I always mention something like that, and never leave anything blank. For example, the other room doesn't, and hallway, no visual defects noted. Defect noted. Okay, and you don't want to leave things blank. Whatever is not applicable, you want to NA. So right here, there's a NA field. I want to show you this NA field, but I want to do it at the end because there's other things that you need to notice. Okay. This is very common problems, but if I see it, I write it in. And anything else? Nothing else. Okay. So, oops, right here. Okay, so if nothing else, you want to fill in NA for the rest. Instead of type it in each and every time and go into the space, you simply use this NA field. You click on it. Notice NA is applied. NA, 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 NA. Okay? I want you to make sure you don't leave any part blank, because you guys may not know this. If your transaction ever turned into a lawsuit, the only disclosure you as an agent ever personally made to your client is the AVID. And that is the #1 document attorney is going to look first, try to attacking you, to attack your professionalism, your credibility as an agent, to see whether or not you did a good job or not. If you do this the way I do it, when there is, you know, whenever there's a sink, you make something, hey, I did open the cabinet, there's no visual damage, okay? Or if I open the cabinet, I cannot see because it's all blocked. You're doing your job. So many times people just leave it blank, say nothing noted, nothing noted. Or sometimes people even just cross lines and nothing, nothing. Or, you know, you are leaving yourself to potential big problem. If there is a problem with the transaction, it goes to litigation, okay? I have been expert witness on litigations for real estate cases. And this is how I know that how attorneys use the AVID to attack agents. Because they need to use some way to attack agents to leave an impression with the judge or with the jury that you are not thorough. Because usually when there's a problem, it's always problem arising and something's wrong with the property. And then they want to prove that you missed your job. You did not do your job properly because you should have seen the problem. Remember, the lawsuit is between buyer and seller, but the agent always gets dragged into it. Why? Because we have errors and omission insurance. And that's where the big deep pocket is. And they want to attack so that you are found guilty of a mistake or committing errors in your transactions, and then your insurance company will pay for the damage, okay? So just remember, if you do what I tell you to do on the AVID, you'll be just fine when it goes to litigation, because it shows everybody you did not miss anything. Everything you have seen, you've done. And not only that, on the things that you think necessary to have a picture, you even included pictures, okay? You even included pictures. So, you know, it makes your AVID looks more professional and more complete. Just remember that, okay? So now I want to show you what this whole thing looks like after you're done. We come back to here. If you just simply open your AVID, you're gonna see what we just see. Photos are right here. So you wanna see what the report looks like? You open this and you say, save as PDF and save to my, in the transaction, okay? Then add it. Now you come here, there is a agent visual inspection. This is what your final AVID will look like when it gets to send to the client, okay? This is your AVID. Don't forget, you need to note the weather condition, the date and the time, and who are all there. And you see over here, you have photo number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You have 8 photos, okay? This is what your report looks like, right? And here are the photos. Here are the photos. This is the scuff mark, okay? That's the scuff mark on the south wall. Here is a big scratch on the wood floor because I had heavy furniture and the plastic coaster broke. It was only screw on the floor, and I didn't know. I was trying to move it, so it created such a gouge, big scratch on my wood floor. This is a parquet wood floor. You know, parquet wood are very heavy duty, and look how deep the gouge is, okay? And then I have some wood damage. I guess that's termite damage, but I have some wood damage on the corner of the floor, okay? And here is the crack. Remember we had a cracked kitchen tile? I have a crack on the kitchen tile. Why? Because I had heavy tool. I dropped right on there, and it hit and cracked it, okay? And remember I said object blocking your view? Your job is to do visual inspection, correct? Visual inspection, meaning you open the cabinet, you look inside to see whether or not there's water damage. But if there's items underneath the kitchen sink, you take a photo. So my view is blocked. I cannot see, okay? It's very typical of a kitchen sink, right? Most families' kitchen sink, they have stuff in there, okay? Okay? So right here, missing grout. Remember I said missing grout? You see, by having these photos and making a notation, it shows how detailed you are, okay? Then a crack on the ceiling and a missing smoke detector. That's in the bedroom number 2. And where is this located? Is right by, here's the wall, here's the front door of the bedroom. So it's on the ceiling by the bedroom door, okay? Here is patchwork, but not painted. So bedroom number 3, I had a comment says unfinished patching on the wall. You notice? Bedroom number 3, unfinished patching on the east wall. You see that? Remember in the photo caption, I already named my photo in my computer folder. So not only would that make it easier for me to attach photo, and when I attach it, I don't have to type any description again, because the system takes my photo name, the name of the photo, as the description. So if you save your photo with this clear description of what this photo is about, you don't have to do any more typing. Remember when I attach photo, I just simply attach photo, and then photo's file name became the description. I don't have to describe. I save a lot of time on typing, okay? And this is what my report looks like. And everything else that does not apply, I have no blank spaces. They know very clearly it does not apply. It does not apply. There is no other room, okay? So it's a very simple 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Very simple with a master bedroom, okay? So simple, straight 3-bedroom, nothing else. And always write something about the garage, okay? I have some oil stain on the ground, so I write it in. Whatever I can see, whatever you can see. And over here, if you see some problem with the fence, also note it. This is where you're supposed to, the outside, the exterior of the building. You know, my house is old. I have some, you know, most of the old stucco homes, stucco walls, there are always some kind of cracks. So just write in various crack on the stucco wall. You can't go wrong, okay? And then old deteriorated concrete walkways. I have some various deterioration on the concrete walkways, okay? And I have no problem with my block walls, so I didn't have to write any comment. And then this is where you present it, you signed it, okay, as the firm representing the buyer. There's 2 places you need to sign, okay? You need to sign right here. I should have filled it out. It filled in, okay? You need to sign right here, put your signature and put your company name again here, okay? That is to sign for the disclosure. This here is to sign to receive. You received one, okay? So there's two places for buyer's agents to sign. One is right here and one is right here, okay? So you got to remember to do that, okay? So this is what an AVID will look like with photos, okay? I wanted to show people AVID because this is so important. I have so many people that made mistakes on not doing a good and thorough visual inspection because your purchase agreement, let me show you your purchase agreement. On your purchase agreement, on paragraph 10, right here, can I, oh, I cannot. On paragraph 10A2, right here, an agent visual inspection right here, okay? And has completed a buyer's seller brokerage firm section, if applicable, agent. So the listing agent have to provide one right here. And then over here, it says, nothing stated herein relieves the buyer's brokerage firm from the obligation to conduct a reasonably competent and diligent visual inspection of the accessible area of the property and disclose, okay? AVID. The reason why Sierra used the AVID form is because the seller's transfer disclosure only give the agents 3 little lines to disclose. That's not enough. That's not enough. And most agents just say, due to the age of the house, buyers strongly advised to get a physical inspection. That does not alleviate. It says very clearly, nothing here stated herein relieves a buyer's brokerage. Remember, you're representing the buyer. You have a higher standard of doing a more thorough, complete, diligent, and thorough, okay, visual inspection of accessible areas. What is accessible area? Areas you can get to walking. That means you don't need a ladder and you don't need to crawl underneath the house like the physical inspectors. But one thing that most missed by people is underneath the kitchen sink or underneath the bathroom sink. If there's previous leak problems, usually the cabinet will show, or underneath the sink will show. You look up and there'll be stains all over. Then you know there has been leaks in the past, okay? So don't forget that. This is so important. I want to save you guys from future lawsuit, or well, from getting yourself in trouble during future lawsuits. Knock on wood. You should never be sued. But unfortunately, we live in California, a sue-happy state, okay? So this is how you do. Let's just review what I have done with you today. I show you where to look for the Forms Tutor, Forms Advisor. I show you the toolbar functions, okay? I show you how you can change your company info or your personal in your personal profile, and where to set up your signatures service. I showed you how to set up templates, okay? I showed you how to set up checklist. I even demonstrated how to create a new sales transaction using templates and insert templates and checklist into your transaction. I demonstrated how to do an e-signature and also how to insert external PDF files into the e-signature and get it set up on the signature. And the 10th item I showed you, which is not intended in the zipForm, but I think because personal experience, I know it is so important and most people don't know about the inserting photo feature. I showed you how to, so the 10th item I showed you today is how to insert photo into AVID. Let me just show you one more quick thing. I know sometimes during the negotiation, during the transaction, maybe the seller will say, you know what, I'll give you guys, either I'll sell you some furniture, and the buyer may say, I really like that coffee table, whatever. I'll sell you some furniture. Or even the seller will say, I give it to you, right? So anytime you have personal items involved in the transaction, that you're supposed to clearly state what items. So you use addendum, right? On the addendum, you identify is the purchase agreement dated July 13th. Okay, dated July 13th. And this is addendum number 1. Okay, and you say seller agree to leave the living okay, you say sofa, coffee table, right? Coffee table, end table, and sofa, and there's the love seat. Love seat, okay. Sofa, love seat, coffee table, end table, right? You notice right here, there's another feature right here. Again, attach photos. Hey, do yourself a favor, okay? Take the photo. Let me tell you, I have people buying like $1 million, $2 million homes, right? They had very beautiful, beautiful, fancy living room furniture. And the seller during the negotiation at the, furniture, there's no plural. Heavens, okay. During the negotiation, in the beginning of the transaction, everybody loves each other. Everybody loves this, and the seller agreed to leave this free of charge, okay? Agree to leave, okay, at no cost to buyer, right? You negotiated this. Do yourself a favor. Take the photo and attach it right here. And let people sign with the photo completed, okay? Don't make the mistake of just writing it down. Why? It says sofa and love seat. Well, this actually happened to one of our agents, okay? During the transaction, when it comes to negotiating for repairs, the buyer requested quite a few items. The seller got a little upset. But because we all know in Arcadia, homes over $2 million are a little bit difficult to sell right now. So the listing agent suggested the seller to make all those minor repairs. Seller is super pissed off, thinking, what a bad person the buyer is. Of course, the actual language used was more colorful, okay, by the seller. So the seller decided to leave them the sofa, love seat, a coffee table, and end table from the family room, which is not the same as the living room. Remember, most people have a beautiful living room for showcase, and family room is where the kids play. They have old sofas, right? But he realized it just says sofa, love seat, coffee table, end table. So when the seller moved out, they left the family room sofa, love seat, coffee table, and end table, which are raunchy looking, okay, in the living room, and took the living room, beautiful designer or whatever, customized living room furniture with them, just to spite the buyer. And when the buyer walk into the house, take possession, open the key, call the agent back and says, these are not the furniture that we agreed. How can we prove anything? There was no photo taken. Did the seller leave a sofa? Did he leave a love seat? Did he leave a coffee table? Did he leave an end table? Of course he did, but not the same furniture. And by this time, seller is already on the moving truck moving to Missouri with his family. We couldn't even reach the seller for about a week. And the seller simply says, the agreement says sofa, love seat, coffee table, and end table, and I left that. So, you know, next time tell your buyer, don't be so goddamn picky. Oh. Anyway, the seller was still obviously pretty agitated with all the tedious and all the kinds of repairs that the buyer has requested. Okay, so you guys, whenever you negotiate something, leave photo evidence. That's why there is a more and photo, and you can attach photos. You can attach photos, okay? Let me just prove to you, you can attach photos, any photos, okay? Right here, you see? You can attach photos right here. So what was wrong with you? What's wrong with, once you guys agreed on the furniture, take the photo of the furniture and attach it to here. And then when you have the addendum in a PDF format, it will have the photo attached to it. Then everybody knows. Okay, then everybody knows what furniture was done. You know, this mistake cost my agent $8,500 buying the furniture that's similar looking. Still, the buyer was still not happy. Okay, the buyer was still not happy because it's not the same furniture that he's seen, but it's still $8,500 worth of furniture was still pretty good furniture. But, you know, had he done the photo and made sure, and if you have people leaving personal items, make sure they leave that personal item, okay? So anyway, sorry, it's 12:06 right now. Our class can last until 12:30. But for those of you who doesn't have any questions, you're free to go. For the rest of you, if you guys have questions, please feel free right now to click on raise hand, click on the participants and click on raise hand. And once you click on raise hand, I can call on you to mute yourself. Fang, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Can you make me a co-host so I can mute, I can manage the participants, or if you don't mind doing that?
Okay, you co-host.
Okay, great. Guys, any one of you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Raise hand. Wow, there is no question. Oh, yes, Pauline Lam. Pauline Lam. Please unmute yourself and speak. Hello.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you
Hi.
so much for your great presentation for us. We learned a lot. I saw there's two questions from our chat room. One is Eric is asking, do you know where I can download the software to my laptop instead of going to the website?
Yes, yes. Let me show you. In the transaction, can you guys see? Can you guys see the transaction center? Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. In the transaction, you see it right here, it says zipForm. The company who bought zipForm is Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf zip form. And there's a zip form standard. You click on the zip form standard and you have right here, you click on download now. I need to sign in. And it will ask you, which one you want to download. You see that? PC download or Mac download. You see that? That's where you click. I don't want to click to download because I already downloaded before, okay? So this is where you go. Let me go back to participants. And the next person is JH. JH.
Hi, Brian. Hi, I have a question about the pictures because I heard that someone told me before, like if you use the pictures of the form, like the addendum, and if you take picture of one thing and you missed out another thing and you didn't take a picture of them, and later on if there's some problem and the other party, the attorney will accuse you like, you noticed of this and you took a picture, but you didn't, notice of that, and there's no pictures. Why didn't you take pictures of other things?
Correct. That may happen. Okay, that may happen. But my suggestion is anything you see wrong, take photo. In my demonstration, I did not go through everything. Okay, I did not go through the house, but when I go through a house with my buyer, okay, whatever I notice, I use my cell phone, snap a photo. So in my visual inspection, sometimes I have taken up to 15, 20, photos, and I don't mind attaching all that. That's no problem. See, the thing is, if you have the photo, it describes the problem better because we just say scratch. Well, something for you as a scratch may be a big crack for someone else. We don't know. So using the photo, you actually show the actual item to the buyer. Here's another thing. The seller is supposed to maintain the property in the same condition during the transaction period from the time it was accepted. So when you take a photo of a problem, you encapsulate that problem, So for example, if there's a crack on a window, maybe it started out with a little crack, right? So you take a photo, you already know how big the crack is. And then if by the end of close of escrow, the entire window is cracked, and the seller said, no, it was cracked from the beginning, you have a photo, because on your visual inspection, you did say crack on the window, right? But you actually have a photo. So it saves a lot in disputes. And most of the disputes are settled between the buyer and seller. So if the seller sees that, it was a further damage, and we say you're required to repair it, that's fine. The problem comes with being vague. Having a picture, you're more precise. So it's better to be more precise on your work, especially in the way our society is turning. They're looking to point fingers at real estate agents all the time. So it's better to be thorough and to be precise and clear. So the AVID with the written words, it's not very clear. But with a photo, it completes the picture. Okay? And you should also consult your broker. If your broker says, don't worry about it, it's up to you. I train my agents to be very thorough. So, and I know many of them still don't use photos, and I'm not requiring them, but because CAR has because zipForm has put the photo capability into the system, it is my job to point out to you that you can, and it is suggested that you attach photos. Just like with a furniture, had you had a photo of the furniture, there is no question which furniture everybody agreed to, especially if you have everybody initial each and every page, and all the photos has initials on it. So there is no question what furniture was supposed to be left behind. Okay? Any other questions? No one else have any questions? In that case, Fang,
Yes.
I think the class is ended 15
Okay.
minutes early.
Okay, then we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It has been a pleasure sharing what I know about zipForm with all of you. Okay?
Okay, thank
Best
you.
thing for you to do is go to your computer and start messing around with websites, download the softwares, and play around with the attached photo thing. Susan Wayne, you have a question. Susan Wayne.
Yes. Hi. I just try to unmute myself. If there's a stain and loose carpet, and do we have to disclose that?
Say that again. If there's a what?
If there's a carpet stain.
I'm not hearing you correctly. There is a carcass thing?
Oh, carpet.
Okay.
Stain.
Carpet. Okay.
Carpet stain.
Oh, carpet stain. Yes.
Yeah.
Photos.
And do we have to disclose that?
Oh, yes. Yes. Stain
Okay.
and carpet are big, huge disputable items because seller may have covered it up or blocked by a furniture, but when they move out, their stain is become very visible to the buyer. So if you notice carpet stains, definitely have to disclose that. Yes.
Okay, but is that considered like wear and tear instead?
You supposed to report everything you saw visually. Any imperfections you saw visually, that's your job. Diligent visual inspection of all accessible areas. Just like the scuff mark on the wall, it's just a black mark on the wall. I still take a photo and show it. Okay? Same thing with the stain on the carpet, take a photo and show it.
Okay, and so if there's like, you know, sometimes the carpet, they lose a little bit in front the doorway, like bedroom doorway, and then
Basically, when it's loose, it's because it's already separating from the floor. Yeah, because some edge is threading and they're loose.
And do we need to disclose that as well?
Yes, take photo of it.
So we need to disclose that too.
Yes, I would.
Okay, thank you.
The more thorough of your visual inspection, the better, because your job at that time is not to sell the property again. Your job is to find out any little problem with the property. Okay.
So even the item considered like a wear and tear, and we still
That is between the buyer and seller. The buyer will say, "Can you repair that?" Seller say, "No, that's wear and tear." So your job is not to make the determination. Remember, you are not the judge. You're not the one who are the judge is the buyer and the seller. The buyer may think, "Oh yeah, that's a problem," and the seller say, "No, that's wear and tear," and they discuss it during what? During repair request for repair. And then they discuss it over. But your job is to report it. That's all. You're not there to determine, oh, don't worry about that's wear and tear. No, it's up to the buyer and up to the seller to negotiate. Your job is whatever you saw, you write down. And whenever you can, take a photo and show it to everybody. Okay, because the listing agent is not going to do do the right job on the AVID. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up.
Go and read that paragraph 10. Okay. The one that I showed you, it gives more description to the buyer's broker. Okay. Buyer's broker. It has a lot more language than the listing side, listing broker. So you got to read that to understand the contracts place more responsibility on the buyer's broker's shoulder for doing the visual inspection. Okay.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, that is the only disclosure you have ever made as an agent to your buyer. That's the only written disclosure. Everything else, think about it. All the other disclosure, who made it? Seller made it, or the NHD company made it, you know, and the physical inspector made it, right? So AVID, buyer's agent's AVID is the only disclosure you make to your buyer. Make it a clear and thorough one. Okay?
Okay, got it.
Even if you show that wear and tear, you can, during the discussion, you say, you know, hey, you know, this seller's been living there for over 25 years. Carpet don't last that long. And the buyer may say, I want him to replace the carpet. You know, we always tell them, seller is not going to replace brand new things for you. You're buying the property the way it is. It's just like asking the seller to replace the roof. They're not going to do that. You know, that kind of thing. You can discuss that, but in your report, you show everything. Okay?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, no more questions. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Today is Monday, the 13th. And, you know, good luck and go and make some offers, okay? Thank you.